Nice. Oh, Amazon Prime, you are so useful, though I hope they never make a movie about you. No, I didn't. No. I said by the end of the weekend, and the weekend's already over. I mean, come on. We all know time flies pretty fast. No. No, not this time. No. Gotta get out. What the? What are you?
I am your devilish counterpart from hell.
You look more like a Nintendo boss to me. Seriously, if you're a devil, where are your horns?
I'm waiting for Spirit Halloween to open up to get some. I should have them within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, well, move. I gotta get out of here.
Oh, no. You made a commitment that you must do.
What? No way! Those people are making me do this!
Oh, but they aren't. No one asked you to review this movie, just like no one asked you to review Smurfs. You asked yourself. You said on video you wouldn't, but you did it anyway. And now you did it again by getting people's attention to what you say or post online. And hey, had you added another 0 to the like count, you wouldn't have to. But it seems to me because you chose an easy number like 30, it's almost as if you wanted to do it.
No, I won't believe that! Get out of my way! I refuse to commit!
But if you don't commit, you'll wake up the next morning with all your pieces of physical media gone, being forced to stream for the rest of your life. And your whole Bluey-themed room will be replaced with
No!
Cocomelon.
No!
In the words of Beetlejuice, it's showtime.
Okay, you know what? Maybe it's a good thing not all new movies go to theaters. I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around what I just witnessed. Alright, well, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm not going to title this movie review. Why? Because this does not feel like a movie. Now, look, I know it's been out for 2 weeks, but I almost thought about just passing on this one. Because is there even anything to talk about? Because all I've heard from this movie, or people that have seen this movie or watched this movie from their home because it's a streaming exclusive film, was that it feels just like an hour and 30-minute long advertisement. Pretty much in the same way that Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas doesn't feel like a movie, but an hour of Kirk Cameron talking metaphorically about the Bible and Christmas combined with elements of a music video. That's all that movie's about, and oh man. So, I'm gonna tell you this right off the bat. I'm not reviewing this movie for myself, but for you guys. That way, you don't have to watch this film. I could have done that a lot earlier. I know I'm way too late for that, but I'm mostly just doing this because I need more views on my channel. Because apparently Bluey videos isn't enough. I'm still gonna do them, no doubt, but yeah, let's take a break from that and talk about this thing. Well, before I get into it, first let me talk about the plot. So, War of the Worlds is a new attempt at bringing War of the Worlds into film, even though that has happened 2 times, but this doesn't relatively feel like it fits in that same category as those films. So Ice Cube plays this guy who's a parent and is currently hacking the government surveillance, and doing so, a massive threat appears out of nowhere and starts attacking the world, and he has to get in contact with family members and people that he knows to help him hack into the government to help stop this threat that's going on. And throughout this entire movie, or thing, not a whole lot happens. I mean, yes, alien invasions do happen, but in terms of what the movie is trying to do, it does not feel like it's doing anything to feel remotely interesting. If I wanted to watch a stupid sci-fi movie, I'll go watch something like, I don't know, Starship Troopers, because at least things happen in that movie. And hey, it's still a good movie. Or, if I really wanted to watch something meaningful in terms of threats going throughout the world, then I'll just watch something better. Now, I never watched the original War of the Worlds movie that came out all the way back in the 50s. I never even watched the Steven Spielberg adaptation. I heard the ending to that movie sucked, but a lot of that movie was actually really good. Yeah, but many people haven't even been comparing this film to those, because they don't really need to, because it generally gets everything wrong about those films, as this movie is generally an adaptation of the novel that it's based upon of, which I never read. I heard it's very meaningful in terms of, the events that goes on about, world versus world, man versus, life form, but really having a lot of meaning behind it and thought process around the novel. And it was very popular. That spawned adaptations. This one really shouldn't count because, first of all, it's streaming on Amazon Prime, okay? And when I reviewed Freakier Friday, by the end of that video, I mentioned that I wasn't going to watch Happy Gilmore 2 because it's at this point where I'm tired of, when movies come out straight to streaming, and I just don't get that same type of motivation of reviewing a new movie that goes straight to streaming. Unless something like this comes out, and the fact that, it's been panned so hard that I'm sure people would like to hear my thoughts on it. Though nobody asked me about this movie, I almost thought about not talking about it until, I was just all like, I'll leave it up to the people to decide if I should review this movie and just add in that post. And I'm reviewing this before the post hit 30 likes, but, just in case people don't give it 30 likes, I'm still doing this anyway. Now, this movie, oh man, the reception behind this film has been horrendous. It started off with 0%, but boosted up to a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. It currently has a 2.6 on IMDb as I'm reviewing this film, and you want to hear what the Metacritic score is? Because you wouldn't believe what the Metacritic score is. 6. That's right, this movie has a 6 on Metacritic. That is lower than The Room. So when The Room has a better score than this movie on Metacritic and literally almost every other platform, you messed it up so badly that it's pretty much becoming mocked right now. I mean, sure, people are saying, oh, this movie's a masterpiece, this movie's a work of art, and all that, but it's generally because, they're making fun of it. It's like in the same way as Morbius, as that was a horrible movie, but people have just been making fun of the film and saying, this is absolute peak cinema. It should win every single Oscar, when really it's just there for a joke because of how atrocious that movie was. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same for this movie too, because there's almost literally nothing to talk about in terms of this film. But it's let's get the obvious out of the way. Product placement. There's product placement for pretty much everything from WhatsApp to Spotify to Microsoft and of course Amazon. That's pretty much the biggest selling point to this entire movie. It's an hour and 30-minute long Amazon commercial. This might as well have just been an hour and 30-minute long ad that they put on for a YouTube video only for you to skip it. And there were ads when I was watching this movie too. Some of them, of course, being Amazon. But if we just ignore the fact, how's the actual story? It feels like it doesn't even exist. It takes all these various cliches of other sci-fi films and puts it in the most convoluted and cluttered pile of editing that it just tries so hard to make you feel something. Because there's also forced-in family drama that adds absolutely nothing. Now look, it can work. As, you know, it does tackle some of those themes as far as I know from, you know, what goes on into, like, the novel or the movies or whatnot. But when they try putting it in this movie, it does not feel like it's earned whatsoever. It feels generally forced. It starts off with Ice Cube not even being a good dad, as, you know, he just tends to be very aggressive once in a while. I mean, sure, he does show sympathy for his children, or they're all grown-ups. I mean, his daughter is pregnant. But he just starts off being unlikable towards his kids. Just like, you know, deleting his son's video game, like, you need to go out and get a job. Or, why aren't you eating enough protein and all that? I mean, yes, that's... You know what, I shouldn't even be talking about it because nobody even cared about that aspect. I mean, there's literally a part where, you know, he's trying to, you know, get his daughter into safety by telling her to do all these different things. She's literally injured and her boyfriend comes over and just, you know, tries to, you know, help her out. Ice Cube tells him what to do in terms of, you know, helping out his daughter. There's literally a part where he tries pressuring the wound with tape. Tape that he uses to, you know, load up boxes for Amazon. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, the power of Amazon tape, like, that we get it. Amazon is a big part of this movie. They even use it to try helping save the world by, you know, buying something from Amazon, you know, have it shipped and delivered, and then send it out to, you know, save the world and all that. It's literally all that this movie feels like. And Ice Cube doesn't really go out and do things until, like, the last part of the movie, but it's never really shown. It's only shown through video and all that. But hey, movies like this, in terms of, you know, the type of perspective where a lot of the communication comes from going onto a computer, it has been done before. Movies like Unfriended started doing this trend, but easily the best movie to do this right is Searching, which had a lot of emotion behind it, a lot of family drama, characters that I actually cared for, and the movie actually made sense on, you know, its concept. Maybe if they learned from this movie, they could have done that with this film too, because it almost feels like there was no actual effort put into this film. Even the visuals and all that, when it comes to the creature designs, it feels like they were straight out of 2000s movies. I wouldn't be surprised if they used a little bit of AI to help generate those things to life or whatever. Because it's not even entertaining when it comes to those types of aspects. It feels like, you know, stock footage from, you know, like, disastrous events put into editing and all that, just editing, like, elements of, you know, the creatures from War of the Worlds into, you know, attacking the world and all that. That's generally what it feels like. As elements of the movie just feel like it was all cluttered into this massive, you know, mess of just, like, you know, events are going on throughout the film and we should all feel bad, as it's supposed to be very tragic and we're supposed to feel something. But nobody is going to feel anything throughout this film because it generally does not even feel like a sci-fi film. The movie just doesn't understand the basics of good sci-fi or storytelling. Especially with how bad the dialogue is. It is embarrassing, it is cringe-inducing, and it is just... It's one of those movies where I'm glad it went straight to streaming. Because if you were watching this in a theater, you probably would have walked out. Now, with all the negativity surrounding this film, is there one thing about this movie that I feel like is remotely redeeming? Well, yes. There is one big ginormous praise I can give this movie, okay? And it's one that I can generally thank the movie for. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. And that includes credits. So in total, it's like an hour and 22 minutes. So there's that. But still, the runtime doesn't even feel earned because it still feels like it goes on way too long. It just amazes me that even for a movie that's an hour and 30 minutes, it feels like they just got the wrong people making this movie. The writing is just all over the place. It's just absolutely convoluted and feels generally embarrassing. Hell, there was a part where, there's like this character with a deep voice who's supposed to be like intimidating and all that, and a big hacker, only for it to be revealed to be Ice Cube's son, and the fact that, he's actually helping out and all that. It almost reminds me of that awful horror movie, The Bye Bye Man, only more laughable this time around because a lot of it just doesn't work. The logic surrounding this film in terms of, the product placement just does not work in that same type of sense, because there are times where he gets disconnected with some folks but immediately gets reconnected with them. And it just begs the question, why can't he just, go out and, just, if he actually went out and did things rather than just stay on a computer and just trying to hack things out when, you shouldn't always rely on technology to help save the world, more stuff would have happened and there could have been a lot more going for this film. And it would probably make it a bit more bearable to sit through, but it just doesn't. I feel like the thing about this movie that they were just trying to do is just make it a big long ad for Amazon. But Amazon has been around for years, so what is the point? People are using it, or, maybe not just for their website, but the fact that, it's a big streaming company now. Though this is not the type of movie where, you need to, get out and get an Amazon subscription right now. As I was watching this movie, I was just all like, yeah, this is the reason why I go out and see movies in the theaters. Because when movies like this get dumped out straight to streaming, you know that there is no effort put into them. I mean, there are great streaming exclusive movies out. Netflix has released a bunch of really good animated films released exclusively for Netflix that I would have liked to have seen in the theater. From Nimona to Wallace and Gromit, K-pop Demon Hunters, which I haven't seen but I heard is really good. But movies like this, I am fine it went straight to streaming. Because if I saw this in a theater, it would be one of those rare occasions where I actually walked out of the theater. And I never walk out of movies, no matter how bad they are. But still, here's what I recommend. Instead of staying home and watching this movie, you could go out and see a bunch of really good movies that are out in theaters right now that are generally worth your time. Fantastic Four, Bad Guys 2, Nobody 2, Together. I'm not sure that that's still playing, but if it is, I recommend watching that. Or Naked Gun, or Weapons, which has been killing it at the box office, and I'm so happy that movie's actually been getting attention. I wasn't a huge fan of Freakier Friday, but I still say, yeah, go out and see that instead of staying home watching through this. I guess you could just watch it just to turn it on while you're doing something else. But there are literally tons of other good movies out on streaming right now where you could do that. Unless the movie is so good where you have to stay and watch it. But this, you can just turn it on instantly. Which, I guess that's another good thing. If you were watching it at a theater, you wouldn't have the power to do that. Like, I could have turned it off early, because it just feels like a nothing movie. It feels like a movie that tries to be a sci-fi film, and it just doesn't work as a sci-fi film. It doesn't work as a social commentary film about what it's trying to go for. It doesn't work as a film based on a popular novel, which also adapted into other movies that were far better than this, as far as I'm aware of. It just begs the question why the movie was made. It's just an hour and 30-minute long product placement driven film. And it's not to say that product placement can't work in a film, just have it make sense. It generally does not make sense for this movie, as it just feels like it's not trying to do anything remotely interesting. And the fact that they got all these people making this film, what was the point? I just want to... I'm asking right now, what was really the point of this film if you weren't even going to put any effort, but just trying to be a big hour and 30-minute long ad? Because it doesn't feel like it's remotely trying to do anything for the viewer whatsoever, other than, make them cancel their Amazon subscription, because I wouldn't be surprised if it made some people do that. Because it doesn't matter if it's the 6th most trending movie on Amazon Prime. I bet you most people that watch this movie just came to hate watch it, to see how bad the movie is. Because when a movie gets this much buzz on how bad it is, and I was one of those people that watched it, and I was fooled into doing this, then yeah, that's basically it. In the end, guys, I'm not even going to call it the M word. I'm just going to call it this hour and 30-minute long advertisement. It has no reason to exist. It doesn't do anything remotely interesting. All that it does is just force you into a convoluted family drama plotline where I generally didn't care about anything that was going on in terms of that, and also not generally trying to be a good take on the novel, but just generally just trying to be like, I don't even know. As I was watching the movie, I was just like, what was really the point? There's literally no point in this movie existing whatsoever other than to try to get people to like use Amazon more often. It doesn't work as a sci-fi film. It doesn't work as a family drama. It doesn't work as a film taking place on a computer when other movies have done that in the past and have been far more superior. This just feels like a long product placement ad. If they just, took the name War of the Worlds and just put Amazon into it, combined with elements of a computer point of view type movie, then that's all they really did for this film, and not really trying to do anything to remotely make this movie a movie, because it doesn't feel like a movie. It should not be called a movie whatsoever, and I would not be surprised if this movie swept away at the Razzies and even won Worst Picture, because it's a really good contender for that. But yeah, all I can generally say is, why? I almost didn't even need to give my rating because you knew right off the bat what the rating was going to be. But yeah, I'm just glad that I got it over with, and yeah, oh boy, so yeah, just don't watch it. Watch what other people have to say about this movie, because I didn't even know this movie existed until Jeremy Johns posted his review on the day it came out. I had no idea it was even coming out. I had no idea it was even going to be a thing until that. And then when I saw other people's reviews, I was all like, oh man, don't tempt me into watching it. But I did. It might have been a few weeks, but I talked about it, and now I'm done, and I can finally focus on actual movies coming out in the theaters. So yeah, I may not like talking about straight to streaming movies all that much as I used to, even if the movie ends up being really good, but I can make an exception for this film because, oh boy, it has been talked about for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, I am done with that, and all I can say is thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for your support. And yeah, as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.
Thank you.